second panelist is Dr. P.K. Shukla, who is present with us here. He is the Vice President of Special Projects from CSR from Pidilite Group. Pidilite has been very active in Gujarat on various skill development activities, and it has been a close association with Pidilite for almost all the departments in Gujarat here. Dr. Ravi Gupta, founder and CEO of Elets Technomedia, who is also organizing this, the organization which is organizing this seminar, is also here with us. As we wait for Mukesh Patel ji, is he here right now? We can't hear you,
he's not here. No, he's not here right now. I think we can start with the session.
Yeah, sure.
So
the main...
if you allow, like, I can start the session and
yeah, please, we can. You can moderate the session, Ravi Gupta ji. That would be your role, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent. So thanks for joining the panelists. An eminent panel here. We have with Dr. P.K. Shukla from Pidilite. Thank you, Dr. Shukla, for joining us. We have Ravi Mittalji, and we have other speakers who will be joining. And Hemangini, if you can request Supreet Gulati to also join the panel, it will be nice.
Sure, sure, sir. I think he is online, and I'll just request him to join this panel.
Yeah, just speak to him, and we'll start here. So while the other speakers are joining, so let me request Ravi Mittalji to talk about the importance of skill development. And mainly, you are looking at higher and technical education in the government of Telangana, and how do you see that the emerging role of skill development in this overall our education ecosystem? And also because of the COVID-19 crisis, there is a change in the whole ecosystem which is happening. A lot of factories are in challenging situations, the economy is in challenging situations. So this is requiring a lot of new skilling, upskilling. So your views on this skill sector in the COVID-19 or post-COVID-19 situation? Navinji.
Yeah, thank you, Raviji, and thank you for inviting me for this skill summit. I'm also happy to be participating in this. So you very rightly said, and I think our Honorable Prime Minister also today, when he was talking in the at the national level, he, as we've all heard, he gave a new slogan, which is skilling, upskilling, and reskilling. And I think these three words are very, very important words in India's context. Because we generally talk about basic skills, and higher education is generally dealing with providing the initial skills to the students who are there. But I think apart from the skills which we talk about, it's also very important that people who are working in the industry also, we talk about upskilling the skills so that they can better perform the new job roles which are coming in, and also reskilling so that people can move from one sector or one particular job to another job which could be more productively employed. So I think these three words become extremely important in India's context. Coming to the education sector per se, I look after the higher education and the technical education sector in the state of Telangana. And we have realized quite a few years back the importance of skills, because traditionally the education sector was basically looking at educating the students in the basic subjects, but the focus on skills which the students require when they actually move into the market was not very much focused on, not just in our state, but I see it across the country. So when we really looked at it, the way we have tried to rectify the situation is that we have brought in the skills from extracurricular and co-curricular way of doing things to a basic curricular way of providing skills. I mean, the the way I want to explain to it is that earlier skills were looked at as something which is extra compared to what the students are studying, and it was kind of an optional activity or kind of an add-on activity which was being done. But what we have tried to do is to bring these skills back into the core of the education. So in fact, we have brought in a new curriculum which started in our state in last year in all our higher education institutions, wherein now we have brought in the basic employability skills as kind of credit courses within our education system. And similarly, in our technical education, also we have brought in a new curriculum which started about 2 years back in the year 2018, wherein now the emphasis is a lot more on practical activity and also on the basic employability skills which the students need. Apart from this, I'm also happy to tell that from this year onwards, we are also introducing specializations and minors also in our technical education system. Uh, Last year in the month of November, ICT has brought in a new regulation wherein they permitted the technical education institutions to now introduce the minors and specialization also in the course of study, in the engineering study. So what basically minor means is that the student can actually do a more horizontal program. For example, a student who's doing, let's say, a BTech in mechanical engineering, he can do a minor in computer science and engineering, or a student who's doing computer science and engineering can do a minor in electronics engineering. And specialization means that the student can actually go deeper into the subject which he's doing. For example, a student who's doing, let's say, BTech in computer science and engineering can do a specialization in artificial intelligence or machine learning, and a student who's doing, let's say, a BTech in mechanical engineering can do a specialization in robotics. And they get these minors or specialization along with a degree if they do 20 extra credits in the topic or the subject which they choose. So I think that is a big uh, jump forward or a big step forward, which will really help the students to do cross spectrum programs or deeper studies in whatever they are trying to do. And I think that will really help them to perform better when they come out. The third thing which I want to talk about is that we are also giving a lot of emphasis on online programs. For example, you talked about the COVID pandemic, which we are handling on a national scale. I think this pandemic, what it has brought about is that the transformation which we are expecting to happen in the education sector in next 5 to 10 years has actually got dramatically accelerated, and within a matter of few months, we are seeing this change in the way people are adopting technology and in the basic mindset in everybody who's involved or engaged in the educational sector, whether it is from the management side, administration side, or the teaching side, and even from the student side also. There's a huge change of mindset which we have seen, and I think this augurs very well for the future of education system. So major shift which it has brought in is that online programs or blended way of teaching is now become very readily acceptable, and I think a lot of universities or most of the higher education institutions have experimented with some form of online teaching in last few months from the time we've started uh, fighting this COVID pandemic. And I think that would really bring us a lot of opportunities in providing the requisite skills to the student through this online uh, methods, because many times for a particular higher education institution it becomes very difficult to uh, provide a particular skill because there may not be too many takers. Now when we approach it from the online side or from a blended mode of teaching, we can actually cater to a number of students across various institutions, and that also kind of sort of brings down the cost of doing it. So I think that is something which as a country we have to now kind of support and kind of strengthen and provide more opportunities in this regard. Lastly, I also want to point out is that it's also important that we bring in this industry and academia linkages, or we deepen these linkages further. In fact, we have started one program which is now ongoing, wherein, especially in our polytechnics and our technical education setup, we have tied up with the help of CII and one of the multinational companies who's there in Hyderabad, a sort of a dual apprenticeship. What it does is replicate some of the work which is happening in some of the European nations like Germany and Austria. There's a lot of emphasis which is happening on apprenticeship. And the way we have done that is that the final year of study of polytechnic will be kind of a jointly done with the industry. So the students will actually go to the industrial setup. They'll do their part of the coursework there, and also they will be parallelly being trained there. And that will be sort of a basic training, and along with the coursework, they can actually do that coursework from the sitting in the industry itself. And we think that this opens up a lot of powerful avenues for deepening this practical knowledge or understanding which students need to have. And we're really looking forward to expanding it further in the coming years. So I personally feel that there are huge amount of opportunities which are there. It's only that we have to kind of focus and kind of support very organized way of providing these skills to the students who are in our education system. And also what our Prime Minister spoke about in the morning, focus also on the upskilling and the reskilling needs of people who are already working in the industrial setup. And I think a combination of this would really help our country in a big way.
Excellent inputs, Naveen-ji, and you have highlighted the changing role of skill development, and you also highlighted the way the online training is being looked at, and also that how government is responding to the changing needs of the sector. And let me request our industry speaker, Dr. P.K. Shukla, who is the Vice President, Special Projects CSR of Pidilite. Dr. Shukla, if you can provide an industry perspective, this will be nice.
Yeah. So good evening, everybody. So I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I after receiving this invitation, I was actually trying to understand what is actually happening across the world in terms of skilling, especially the post-COVID. So a little research as well as a few recommendations for the government of Gujarat, because we are working as a knowledge partner with government of Gujarat from last 7-8 years. So that also I thought of, I will share with you. Definitely, it will have some industry perspective as you mentioned. So the first thing I was actually studying, the Singapore. So I liked one idea which they post-COVID they implemented. In fact, the government has introduced this new policy where the trainers, the teachers of the institutes, they have to first gear up, and they have to complete a mandatory online teaching and training, conducting at least the one virtual session, including the examination of the each term, which is actually I like very much. We are definitely introducing a lot of online courses, but there's everything for the students. So why not to have something for our teachers, and that's something which is mandatory over there. This particular decision of the government has really appealed to me. And similarly in other countries, when I go to the China, so very important thing what they did. So first they thought of actually strengthening the major telecom service provider to boost the internet connectivity. So they had the massive the round of the meeting with the telecom service provider to boost the internet connectivity, and this is something they achieved in the 1 month based on the government, very close interaction with industry and the government. And most of the telecom sector, they have improved their lines, so they can reach to the remote location. This was an initiative of the government. It has really clicked over there, and based on that, they introduced around 24,000 online courses without any the call drop, without any the disconnectivity, without any the video is not functioning. That's how XYZ. Similarly, they have also introduced the courses which is based on the artificial intelligence. So it was very limited number at this moment, around the 22 only validated online courses is based on the artificial intelligence, which were with examples with the personalized database learning, and to improve the learning efficacy and develop the appropriate learning path for each student. That's what is the policy decision from the government side. The few important points in terms of the policy the Russian government they introduced, I would share one only. Probably I liked it because they have made it actually compulsory for the Russian institute to transfer their all educational process, everything. When I talk about the process, starting from the admission to the final result, and they've achieved in the last one month, they've introduced to all institutes, and they have achieved a 70% result, which is very, very effective in terms of such a short time in last 1 month. Also, they have introduced a hotline in an area where the distance learning technology. So the remote area, the hotline system can work. In UK, a lot of the point we discussed since morning, the government has done a lot of work in terms of the policy changes. But the one point which really appealed to me is a landed education. So it's a land ED education system is a website which is very easy to use home learning material. So they have introduced, and which is working very well. And the first time, I think, in the history, they have opened up the Oxford University and the Cambridge, their press note and the various notes. These two institutions are actually known worldwide for their own online library system, and they have opened for everybody, including the old notes, very old notes. And definitely, morning we talked about the Kickstart system. That was also the one good point. Also, they introduced a online system for infection control, and a health system for the social case. So this is something that the citizen should actually attend this course. They are slowly going to make it mandatory for everybody to actually learn the basics of infections and the health care. So many things US government have introduced in the last 2 months, but one point which has really appealed to me, they have actually engaged celebrities, especially for the the young student online courses where they can anchor. The celebrities, they are very famous in US with the children, and they have introduced celebrities for so they come and anchor the whole thing, and then finally they can take it up. In India also, there's so many other countries, but these are the few things which I found. Definitely, these are the things which are the very, very doable things which at a policy level government can do. That's the reason I thought of sharing with all of you. In India also, a lot of work government of India has done by introducing the the Diksha, the e-Pathshala, the Swayam, the Swayam Prabha. There are so many digital platforms. They have introduced government of India definitely with a lot of learning material, but we need to also think about the rural area where the last year the Niti Aayog report is talking about around 43,000 villages in country where the mobile network coverage is not there. So this is something we need to see. The same time, DGT has tied up with the IBM platform. We need to, they have already unveiled, so we need to see that how it is working, and then definitely we'll see on this. Government of India, has introduced a program for yoga, to promote the yoga for the mental and the physical health maintenance. Similarly, with various states, they have initiated these steps. May not be very important for the Gujarat, but other states. So similarly, a lot of other practices are there in a different, Rajasthan government, e-Gyan, they have introduced, Tamil Nadu, e-Learn, they have introduced, the Kerala Academy of Skill Excellence, they have introduced another program that's also very good. Something which is very, very good in Gujarat, we need to re-strengthen those things is definitely your apprenticeship program. So that is, we need to re-strengthen this particular program, because this particular program has given a very good the result to the government of Gujarat. I was seeing the data. So it has actually increased the monthly income of a student by 50 to 60%. So it is basically it's very, very good. In fact, no country have such kind of a program, and no state has this kind of program. It is actually the Mukhyamantri apprenticeship program, which is very successful. Similarly, the employability, the probability, which has also increased from 30 to the 60%. That is also. So we need to probably debate again how to further strengthen this program. That can be the one very important input. We can focus on a complete. In fact, morning we were discussing with the Sunil. So a very smart complete LMS system, a learning management system, which is in any corporate you will find the learning management system, where everything from the admission, counseling, teaching, examination, result declaration, placement, tracking, everything is from the one system. So, like for example, today if we open the ITIs, and then the entire the crowd of the students will come to the ITIs, how we'll manage? Again, the students will come, and then whether they will follow the social distancing, they will be using the mask, there will be this the sanitization process. So if we have a very good learning management system where they can apply, and then counseling can happen through the webinar, the way we are doing today here. So that kind of the system, admission can be given over there. So that is something I'm talking a little. The bigger thing, which is most of the corporate has got their own learning management system. So this kind of the system. Also, we need to probably refocus on IKVK in Gujarat, because IKVK is a one initiative. It has been into the system, but it has to be, I would say, re-strengthen this initiative, because if we re-strengthen this initiative, so then the entire teaching can happen into the premises of that industry, and then the industry, they have this flexibility into this system where they can introduce the courses and all. So this system is also, and most of the industry, they have last 3-4 months they have actually developed a very good ecosystem in terms of sanitization of the units, and in terms of distancing. They have done a lot of changes into their shop floor. So this the IKVK system will actually work well if we little bit change and give the flexibility to the industry to design the course as per their requirement, get it approved from the GCVT, and then they can introduce. More focus on service-oriented courses. This is something which I was discussing with our colleagues, that service-oriented courses in ITIs, for example, the hotel, transportation, BFSC, communication, because these contributes around the 60%, 68% of the service economy. I'm talking about Gujarat. And there is a need to promote service sector. And however, in current system of ITIs, we have only 30 to 40% courses which are related to the service industry. So there is a gap. so we can bridge in this gap. And maybe the last point is also focus on the agriculture and health related the initiative, because agriculture is the one thing I can share with you. We are doing a lot of work into rural part of the Saurashtra, where agriculture, water, these are the two activity. Even the peak crisis of the COVID, we took a special permission from the government, and it was continued, because it was a sowing time. The farmers, they wanted their drip should work. Farmers, they wanted their tractor should work, their motor should work, all the systems should work, and outside nobody was there. So there was a serious problem in terms of how to do it. Not a single taluka level or the district level, the project of making the check dam, making this the farm pond was just stopped, because that also probably has given input that if we post COVID situation, these kind of the courses should be more and more, and also the health. Many institutions are facing the problem. In fact, we have also hospital in Saurashtra, 150 bed hospital. We are also facing, and now we are giving to the COVID. We are facing the situation of manpower crunch for the bedside assistant, those kind of things. Qualified people, they are not there. So focus on those kind of the and then lastly really what our CM sir also said, the Make in India. So the Make in India, this is a right time where this crisis we can convert into the opportunity, where we are seeing as industry, we are seeing the complete import is banned. We are saying that a lot of things, it has to be manufactured in India. Say for example, the sanitizer. Okay, the cost of the IPA in India and then cost of IPA in those countries where we are facing a challenge is almost 50% less. So why not we can make it here? There has to be the proper ecosystem where we can actually make so. And more than the 3 lakhs MSME here in Gujarat, they can actually do the wonders, because ultimately they are affected where nothing is coming from the particular country, and they don't know what to do. So right now we are at a stage where, in fact, morning when our Prime Minister was talking about the skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. So probably ITI can be a hub for reskilling and upskilling. Probably the skilling part we have done, but now the reskilling and upskilling is we need to do, where we can see as industry there is a huge opportunity today. So I think with this I can close. If any question is there, so we can definitely respond.
Sure. Dr. Shukla, excellent presentation you have given, and you have touched upon skill development in foreign countries, overall national perspective, and you also have gone deep into the Gujarat's skill needs. So thanks for an excellent presentation. And may I request Suprit Gulati, who is a director in the skill department, Government of Gujarat, to give a perspective of what is the government thinking about skill development policies and regulations and new initiatives. Suprit.
Thank you, Raviji. But before I start, 2 caveats. One, sometimes my network has got a bit unstable in past 2 hours, so I may have to switch off my video in between if I see something. I do expect you guys, the panelists, please to revert back if my voice is not heard. There have been lots of discussions since 2:30 today. We have had the first panel discussion as well as the inaugural session, and I've had the chance of moderating the first session as well as being present in the inaugural session. So much of what I speak is a part of my experience and a part of what I have picked up in the past 2 hours itself, which has been a fantastic learning experience for me personally. A few things which I would like to highlight. Even when we talk of vocational training or we talk of skill training, there are certain aspects which are basic to any training, and those are not going to change. When I first joined this post almost 3 years ago, it's almost a technical department where you are looking after supplying the trained manpower for most of the manufacturing oriented industries. Most of the people that I have an engineering background. uh, I have an engineering background for that matter. uh, but when we talk to the industry, when we talk to the potential employers, what are their demands? One of the first things that they come up with is, what we need is a person who understands the importance of being on time, who understands the importance of discipline, who understands the importance of critical thinking. Uh, a simple example: you are based in a chemical plant, you are on a sensitive duty looking after, let us say, a boiler. Take 5 minutes off, an unscheduled break of 5 to 10 minutes just to have a tea or maybe to pick up a phone call. It can land into a disaster for the company just because it was unscheduled. So there is a lot of aspect within the vocational and the technical skilling as well, which we in short call employability skills, which we call life skills, and those aspects don't change with or without corona. They would remain important throughout, and that is one aspect which can easily be moved to a online kind of a course, where we train our children, where we train our people for further employment and even for self-employment. Many states have taken this initiative earlier. I remember Bihar, for an example, with its Yuva Skilling Scheme. It came out with this initiative around 2 years ago, and easily replicable module on an online platform, and something which can show great results with minimum efforts thrown into the picture. The second aspect, which was also highlighted by Dr. K.P. Krishnan sir in the morning, and recently just my previous speaker, Dr. P.K. Shukla, has highlighted it: apprenticeships and IKVK. IKVK was specifically by Dr. Shukla. What do these schemes have in common? It is largely training within industry. We know that there is no substitute for hands-on training. If the training institutes are closed, or even when they were open, providing the exact industrial environment to work on, it still rests on the industry. And for that, apprenticeship was and remains the best course of option. You take a student, whether trained or untrained. If trained already, you do only the practical training part. If untrained, do a 3 months of theoretical course, can be done online, not a problem, and take directly on board on the industry as an apprentice. Train for 9 months, 12 months, whatever be the duration of apprenticeship, and make sure that he is skilled as per your needs. Even the output can start within the apprenticeship itself. Uh, the key challenge on the apprenticeship part would be twofold. One, do our industries have the capacity to take up apprenticeships? Again, it was highlighted in the first session that organized sector has taken it well. It has taken it in quite a big way, and there are positive results for them. But our major employers are on the side of MSME sector. Uh, uh, can they have enough capacities to build apprenticeships within themselves? And that's where I am very excited about the Strive project of Government of India, where they are actually interacting with the industry clusters, actually enabling industry clusters of MSME industries to take care of the apprentices. So it's a capacity building of industry clusters, so that industry clusters can handle the MSMEs further. So you can in fact see a kind of an environment where theoretical training is being taken care of by industrial cluster, industrial association. Even the training of trainers is being taken care of by industrial association. Uh, Training of the supervisors can be taken care of in the training facility built by the training by the industrial association, and the actual practical hands-on skilling can move over to MSMEs. A beautiful scheme to run apprenticeships and make sure that they reach the MSME level. We do hope that Gujarat Industrial Associations participate very well in it. Something similar was the idea behind IKVK, which in its first version was started around in 2016, if I remember correctly, where we took skilling right to the industrial doorsteps. Even in the COVID situation, if you realize, in Unlock 1, the industries were open. The training institutes are not open so far. We understand that there is a mismatch between training institutions and industries to the extent that not all children who come into the training institution actually want a wage employment. So it is more efficient to have skilling move towards the employment side, so that the person who is coming into the skilling ecosystem is the one who is willing to work in that particular industry, is willing to work in that particular sector. It takes care of our resource, to make sure that we make maximum use of our resources. So IKVK was started with that perspective, and we had a few issues in the inaugural session. But just for information, the project Sankalp that we have launched through CM Shri Vijay Rupani ji today, it is learnings that we had from IKVK and the learnings that we have from PMKVY. IKVK showed us that it is good to have employer into skilling. It showed us that you can have more than 93% placement in a skilling perspective, provided the employer is with you. PMKVY has given us an exposure to the national standards which are there on skilling, as far as course curriculum is concerned, as far as the IT backbone is concerned, as far as the variety of sectors that can be taken care of when it is concerned, as far as the training of trainers is concerned. So the government of India's PMKVY scheme has given us the backbone for Project Sankalp, and our IKVK model has given us what is the model which is sufficient for Gujarat. So one of the highlights of Project Sankalp is this: we target industrial associations as our training providers, we target industries as our training providers, and we say we make skilling profitable for you per se. Forget that you are getting people who will be employed in within your own members. Skilling itself will be good for you, provided you show us employment on the member side. So industrial associations get strengthened by associating with the skill mission as a training provider. Uh, we have also taken care of, to a certain extent, by allowing reskilling and upskilling within the same batch. Uh, it has been highlighted by our Prime Minister today morning regarding the necessity of reskilling and upskilling. The challenge remains large. Even if we take both the formal and the informal sector combined in Gujarat, we have almost 1 crore people who are there in various industries. Do we have the capacity? When I say the capacity, I mean both on the financial side as well as on the technological side, as far as even on the scheme side, to train as many people, to upskill so many people in a short time. It's a big challenge which is facing us today, and we hope that with Project Sankalp we can make a dent on that part as well. Uh, uh, as online platforms uh, gain popularity, uh, including webinars which we are seeing today, uh, uh, it is a good time to promote online vocational training as well. But today, for example, when I talk of when Dr. Shukla ji said about artificial intelligence courses being run on internet, I'll just take an example. Maybe I can take an example of OpenEDX platform or a Coursera platform, where you just go log in, take up an artificial intelligence course. If you want a certificate, you have to pay a minimal amount. If you don't want a certificate, it's okay, you can simply audit it free of cost. And nobody even thinks of it that it is a part of skilling. It actually is. So education and skilling have been brought very well together in such platforms. Now this is good enough as far as topics like machine learning is concerned, financing is concerned, many other topics which don't require hands-on skilling. But here, when we talk of hands-on skilling, do we have such technological solutions available? I have seen in many places that we have simulators, a welding simulator, a painting simulator. In fact, in the morning, Shri A.K. Tomaji had said about specifically about a painting simulator which has been developed with ITI Becharaji. We do have those efforts which are there in the private sector at various levels of development and also about adaptation. Many of my ITIs have picked up welding simulators from the market. But what I'm suggesting to is, and I don't even know whether such a thing will be technological possible. My opinion is yes, it will be possible. What we need is a platform like an OpenEDX platform for vocational training, for hands-on skilling. Why can't we have, for example, a simple platform on which the way we design courses for artificial intelligence, for machine learning, for financing, or for whatever other topics you can think of? For example, let's have that platform. And if you want to upload a program for welding simulator in it, you just attach your your probe or your electrode as to the USB device or through a Wi-Fi network over with the computer, and use it and use your computer with a touch screen as a welding simulator. If you want to do it as for car painting, let us say. So if you have a car painting, why don't that platform support a car painting? Attach your car painting probe into it and use it properly, and it should show you the results. It will not replace institutional learning. It cannot replace industrial learning. That is not the idea. But bigger idea behind this is how to make sure that vocational training reaches each and every person who wants to know about it. When the MOOC started, the massive open online courses started, nobody knew that so many people would end up taking these courses. Look at where they are today. When people have access to Harvard courses, to Cambridge courses, to MIT courses, right online free of cost. Why can't we have that kind of a revolution in the hands-on skilling sector specifically? I think it is possible. I think technologically it is possible. We just need to put our efforts into that domain. And yes, having let us say it should have a AR attachment or augmented reality attachment or a virtual reality attachment to it for anything. Such a technological framework should be possible. It is probably time to think about such scenarios. Uh, from the point of view of my skill mission, I am particularly uh, uh, happy to be associated directly with the employers. Uh, Learnings for past 5 years have taught us that the best skilling happens in association with employers. One of the speakers once said, if you want skilling to be fruitful, if you want it to be linked to employment, whether wage employment or self-employment, said there is only one way. You have to co-recruit with the industries, you have to co-train with the industries, and then you have to co-deploy with the industries. That's the only way to go ahead as far as I can see on linking skilling with employment. Uh, that to me is the gist, and this does not change with Corona. Uh, the we will get inputs from the industries on what are the kind of courses which need to be designed. Absolutely fantastic. We will have to design those courses to make sure that the changing needs of the industry are met. We need to design new apprenticeship courses. We need to, even in our NSQF framework, we need to design new courses which can then be adopted by the industries. And as the dependence upon government increases for skilling, which it will in the time of this financial crunch, as was clearly highlighted by Dr. K.P. Krishnan sir in the morning, we need to have a constant dialogue with the employers and then implement schemes to make sure that we get maximum bang out of every rupee that we spend on skilling. So that would be my address for the day. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Raviji.
Excellent points mentioned by Supreet ji, and what he highlighted about that the online revolution which has happened in the formal courses. He gave the example of artificial intelligence. Why it cannot happen for the skill development courses, the hands-on courses, which will make skill courses much more accessible and cheaper and to a larger number of people, and the connectivity issue is uh, much better in India than it was there 5 years back. So we have to ride that connectivity wave in the skill development sector also. So may I request Dr. P.K. Shukla to give your concluding remarks. Shukla ji, please unmute yourself. Shukla ji, please unmute yourself.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Unmute. Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Gulati sir has given a lot of input. In fact, I was avoiding to talk on the machine learning, but I was so much of uh, you know about to talk, but he has actually touched upon artificial intelligence. I was having a fear that I should be talking or not, or it would look like something very high funda thing, but when we actually come to the topic, in fact, last week, and I was in one meet in IIT Powai, And I have seen the demonstration of the artificial intelligence with the one professor who has done the work, and then everything. It is really, it will take time, 1 hour time to explain, but mind-boggling, what is happening into the world. We should know, and it's very much can be implemented at, I would say, not even ITI level, but also can be in a KVK level, where the very minimal things are there, but those things are actually, it's very implementable options are there, but not today, but definitely after 2-3 years, those things will come. We can start in a small manner under leadership of Mr. Gulati, and we are always, with him as an industry for anything. I would like to express myself to Mr. Gulati, because in morning session also he mentioned, and then in evening, even just now session also he has mentioned. Then after this post-COVID situation, whether the industry will be, eager to collaborate with the DET. So let me tell you, at least from the industry side, from the Pidilite side, sir, we are always there with you. In fact, we will work in a greater energy with you, because ultimately, Gujarat is doing so much of good work. I'm also seeing a lot of energy is coming from the Gujarat, though we are in other states also, but the kind of the leadership here into Gujarat, we salute you, sir, and for giving us also opportunity to learn. And thank you, Ravi, and thank you, Himangi, helping us for for this thing. In fact, this system I have used StreamYard first time. I was using so many other systems, but now, slowly there will be a lot of competition, I feel. Okay, so with this, I thank you, all of you, and it's up to you now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Supreet, if you can summarize the whole day sessions briefly, it will help all our audience.
Yeah, I think we started the entire the session. What is happening into the different countries like the UK and then Germany, and I think once we'll sit together, and then the government will make the action plan, which area they would like to take it up as a strategic initiative. Then we will have the detailed input. Already our chief minister has given a very good insight about this skilling. Our minister for skill development has given, honorable Mitra sir has given input. So we'll definitely, as industry, we will note down a lot of areas. Mitra sir also covered about the labor situation and lot of policy changes. That also is very useful for the industry. And through this platform and through this Facebook platform, we will all come to know. The Sankalp was also, we would like to know more about this. Definitely, the film was very good. And also, the second session, the concluding remark of Gulati sir, it was very, I would say, the mind-opening kind of session. So once we'll sit together, definitely we'll list down all points. Then we will see that what are the implementable points, and then what point can hold for some time. So that time we can comment more where the industry support is required. We are always there to help out our entire colleagues. We have Pidilite. We have provided every district district skill supervisors in Gujarat. So 33 districts are there. Our national manager, our managers, they're all sitting into Ahmedabad to support Gulati. Anything is there, they are there to help you out. I'm also once, the situation in Mumbai is not good today. There is heavy rain, there is high tide, and there is a corona. So, So sitting in a room and then talking to all of you is really learning a lot. And thank you, Ravi, for
Thank you.
inviting me.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla ji, for being on the panel with us. It's been a pleasure to work with you for past 2 years on various kinds of schemes, on various kinds of inputs, and look forward to associating with you all over again in our various initiatives. For me, the key things were the learnings from the past 3 hours of sessions that we have. It is one, the basics do not change whether we are in post-corona or pre-corona time. Some basics will remain the same. A constant dialogue between uh, skill providers and employers. If that link was missing earlier or was it weak, it is the time to strengthen it so that there is a maximum use of the resources that we have. Apprenticeships, they were on priority earlier. They should be even on a higher priority now for every industry. Nothing
Right.
beats training within the industrial environment. I do hope industries pick up, and the Strive initiative of Government of India is expanded to include as many industry clusters as possible.
Yes.
That's the only way we can reach the MSMEs, which are our major employers. Yes, skilling
Right.
has moved online. We must move online, and we must have good frameworks to move online. The way education has moved, so should hands-on skilling. Do we have the good framework, a good technological backbone for it? That for me would be one of the keys to make sure that hands-on skilling becomes not only popular but also aspirational in our country, which is a dire need. Thank you, Raviji, for taking me on as a panelist as well.
Sure. So
Thank you.
we can conclude the session here, and thank you, Sudhir Gulate and Dr. P.K. Shukla for joining us for the excellent session. And I, on behalf of Elets, thank Gujarat government for giving us this opportunity. And Hemangini, please conclude in one line, please, so that we end the session.
Sure. I thank you each and everyone for this wonderful summit today. I mean, wonderful panel discussions we had, and I think there are many takeaways from this panel discussion. We'll be taking with ourselves. So, and I really am thankful to Gujarat Skill Development Mission for hosting this summit and let people know what are the opportunities they have in line right now. So I hope we work for the best during COVID, post COVID. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining
And
today.
one line summary request to all the audience who are watching this panel is available online on YouTube and Facebook. Please like and share it so that the message of skill development reaches to a larger number of people. With this, we close this here. Namaskar and thank you so much.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.